number 2, we have Michelle selling lemonade alongside her friends Nicole, Allie, and Sarah. For every 5 drinks that Michelle sells, she makes $7.50. She also knows that for every 5 drinks, she mixes in 12.5 teaspoons of lemonade mix. So I have 2 things that I'm comparing. Number 1, drinks to price. Number 2, drinks to teaspoons. Question number 1, how much money will Michelle make if she sells 25 drinks? So this question is specifically asking us to compare money to drinks. So I'm going to pull out the piece of information related to that and set up my proportion. So I start with my big fraction. I'm going to put what I know on the left. So 5 drinks, I know cost $7.50. I need to figure out if there's 25 drinks, how much money is that going to be? Okay, so we can do our cross product method and we end up getting 5x is equal to 750 times 25, and we get 187.5 divided by 5, and we get a cost of $37.50. Although you can also look for easier ways around here, I can recognize that 5 can scale up to 25 by multiplying by 5. So I can use that scale factor down at the bottom and do 7.5 times 5, and you're going to get the same thing. Different ways around it. One method is your scale factor. Second method is your cross products. You might have also noticed that you can find 5 scales to 750 by a certain number and use that to multiply over here, whichever method you think is easiest. Now I have that if Michelle made $412.50, how many drinks did she sell? So I'm still comparing cost to drinks. So I'm going to keep my left side the same. 5 drinks, cost $7.50. I need to figure out 412. Key idea is to make sure our labels match. I need to figure out how many drinks that is. So when I look at this, I don't really see an easy scale factor. I don't know what 750 scales by to get 412. So I'm just going to go very straightforward cross product method here and do 7.5 times x to get 7.5x, and then 5 drinks times 412.5 gives me 2,062.5. Divide by 7.5, and we get that x is equal to 275 drinks. So it's all about setting up your proportion, making sure your labels match, set up one side with what you know, set up the other side with what you're looking for. How much money will Michelle make if she uses 20 teaspoons of mix? So now I'm comparing money to teaspoons. There's not really a sentence in here comparing money to teaspoons. All I know is that 5 drinks is 750 and 5 drinks is 12.5 teaspoons. But you can kind of think about this in terms of the transitive property. I have this 5 drinks overlapping. So if 750 is the same as 5 and 12.5 is the same as 5, then I can eliminate that middleman of 5 drinks and set up my proportion with this information over here. So I know that $7.50 is the same recipe as 12.5 teaspoons. So I'm looking for, what if I have 20 teaspoons? How much money will I make? Again, I don't see an easy scale factor. 12.5 times who knows what gives me 20. So let's do our cross products. 12.5x is equal to 7.5 times 20 gives you 150. Divide by 12.5 and divide by 12.5. And we get x is equal to $12. If Michelle made $412.50, how many teaspoons of lemonade mix did she use? So I'm comparing price to teaspoons again. So I'm going to pull out that same piece. It's given to me that $7.50 is used for 5 drinks, which I used 12.5 teaspoons for. So if I made 412.5, how many teaspoons is that? Again, not an easy scale factor, so let's go cross products. Multiply 12.5 times 412.5. We get 5,156.25. Divide by 7.5. X is equal to 687.5 teaspoons. Could have went about this one a different way. 412 I recognize as my number up here. So I knew from solving question number 2 that $412 is the same as 275 drinks. So I could have set up a different proportion comparing drinks to teaspoons. I could have done 12.5 teaspoons to 5 drinks is the same as 275 drinks to how many teaspoons, because they're all equivalent. And our last one, more of a challenge problem, says a container of lemonade mix contains 80 teaspoons of mix. How many containers should Michelle buy if she plans to sell 96 drinks? So we're given now a new piece of information here. I'm given that one container uses 80 teaspoons. I plan to sell 96 drinks. So I need to know how many containers for 96 drinks. Oh. The issue here is that when I set up this proportion, my labels don't match. I'm comparing teaspoons to drinks over here. So I need to do some work with some proportions to figure out how many teaspoons is 96 drinks. Okay, so I'm going to take the information that I know. I know that from the beginning, 5 drinks used 12.5 teaspoons. So if I want my label to match over here, I need to convert 96 drinks into teaspoons. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to do my math work over here and do 96 drinks is how many teaspoons. I'm going to cross product to get 5x is equal to 96 times 12.5, which is 1200. Divide both sides by 5. And we get 96 drinks is 240 teaspoons. So now I can set up my proportion over here. If I know that one container is 80 teaspoons, how many containers for 96 drinks? But now I know 96 drinks is 240 teaspoons. So we could do cross products, but I also recognize that I have an easy scale factor here. 80 times 3 gets me to 240. So I can do 1 container times 3 to get 3 containers. There you have it. What you are going to work on now are your homework problems, all very similar, asking you to compare different proportions to go through how would you solve them. Set up both sides. Start with the left side being what is given to you in the problem. The right side is what you're looking for, but you have to make sure your units are matching up.